Hello again, everyone. This is American Idioms, Part 28. This is the 28th video in my American Idiom series, and like the others, I'll present 5 idioms to you, numbered 136 to 140. But first, I'll give you the chance to guess their meanings. Then, I'll explain their meanings to you using additional examples to help you to understand them better. So, are you ready? Okay, here we go. Number 136, a fifth wheel. And the example is, my boss decided that the new employee that he had just hired was a fifth wheel, so he let him go today. Can you guess the meaning? The answer here is be something or someone that is useless or has no place in a situation. And that's exactly what this example is all about. It's about an employee that this person's boss just hired, and this person wasn't working out, or they didn't need him or her. So it was or he or she was a fifth wheel. That's kind of what fifth wheel means. Cars usually have 4 wheels, so the fifth wheel, something that you don't need. That's really what it means. Here's another example. Mike felt like a fifth wheel at the party last night because he was the only person who didn't bring a date. Now, in this example, this is more about a person who's out of place. All right? A situation where this person doesn't feel like he belongs. In our example, the person went to a party where everybody brought a date. He didn't bring a date. So in a way, he was out of place at the party. So those 2 examples give you an idea of how this is used. Now for number 137, a hard nut to crack. And the example is, I have known my friend Don for about 3 years, but he is a hard nut to crack because he does things sometimes that are hard to figure out. Can you guess the meaning? Did you guess see someone or something that is difficult to know or understand? If you did, you are correct. And that's what the person in this example is talking about. Their friend, Don, was hard to get to know. He was a hard nut to crack because think about cracking a nut, and it's just hard to get to know what's inside the shell of the nut. That's why it's hard to crack. And that's how this is used. And in this case, the person knew this person for 3 years and still didn't really know him that well. Here's another example. The president has been trying to solve the problem of affordable housing in the country, but it is a hard nut to crack, and he has been unsuccessful. In this case, the hard nut to crack was the problem of affordable housing. So we're dealing with a situation that's a hard nut to crack. And here it's more about the problem was hard to solve. It's used like that too. Okay? Number 138, a snowball effect. And the example is, my aunt hasn't paid her taxes for a long time, which has caused a snowball effect on her other debts, and now she is in serious trouble financially. Can you guess the meaning? The answer here is C, a situation where the results of an action increases quickly over time. It's just like making a snowball. It starts out small, you start adding snow, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it's a problem. Like in our example, the person's aunt hadn't paid her taxes for a long time, and then her other debts, the things that she owed, got bigger and bigger and bigger, like a snowball getting bigger and bigger, and then it became a serious problem for her. Here's another example. High unemployment has had a negative snowball effect on the real estate prices in this area. In this case, we have a negative snowball effect. Well, like our last example, it got bigger and bigger and bigger, this unemployment problem. And because of this problem, the prices for the real estate were probably hurt really bad. Okay, that's what a snowball effect is. Starts small, gets bigger and bigger and bigger. All right, here's number 139, acid test. And the example is, my midterm math exam was an acid test for me. Now I know exactly what I need to study for the final. Can you guess the meaning? The answer here is A, a crucial or rigorous appraisal of something. And that's what this midterm exam was for this person. It was this rigorous or crucial or let's say intense assessment of how well his math skills were. And since he knew this from the test, he could study. He knew what to study for the final. Here's another example. The acid test for the new drone came in the first 2 weeks of the conflict. Now the military knows what improvements to make to it. In this case, the same kind of a situation where this is a very intense or rigorous test. The drone, they had a conflict, some kind of a war of some kind, and they were able to understand what was good about it and what was bad about it, and then they could make improvements because of this acid test. Got it? All right, here's the final idiom, 140, across the board. And the example is, because of a shortage of tax revenue, our town had to cut spending across the board. Can you guess the meaning? Did you choose C, something that includes or affects everything or everyone? If you did, you are correct. And that's what across the board means. It means everything. And in our example, the town was worried about their shortage of tax revenue. The revenue means the money that they get from taxing everyone. And because of this shortage, they had to cut spending for everything. That means across the board. Here's another example. Everyone at work is very happy because instead of giving out raises to a few select workers, management has decided on a pay increase across the board. We have a similar situation here where everything or everyone is included. They were having maybe an issue about the pay increases or raises for a few select workers, but then everyone was happy because management decided to give everyone a raise, meaning they decided on a pay increase across the board. That's how it's used. That's all for this video. I hope these videos are helping you. Thanks again for subscribing, and like I always say, keep practicing! See you next time.